All right, today we are diving deep into a book that's, well, let's just say it's got a reputation. We're talking about Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. It's one of the most controversial and honestly most influential books on strategy you'll ever find. So let's get into it.
Think about it for a second. What if everything from your office politics to global diplomacy is all just a game? A game with a very specific and often hidden set of rules.
And that's the core idea here. According to this book, these rules are always at play whether you know it or not. And understanding them isn't just about getting an advantage, it's about making sure you're not just a pawn in somebody else's game. So let's start with the book's fundamental premise. Power is this constant, inescapable game. It's not really about being good or evil. It's about understanding these deep, almost primal patterns in human nature that have been running the show for centuries. We're going to look at some of the most provocative laws to see just how this game is played. This quote right here, it's the foundation of everything. It's not always about what's real. It's about what looks real. You see, people don't react to reality. They react to what they perceive as reality. So in this game, perception isn't just a part of it. Perception is the entire playing field. That brings us to our first set of laws, which are all about mastering that game of appearances. How people see you completely dictates how they treat you. And the very first law is probably the most famous and the one people break all the time. I know, it sounds totally backward, right? You think you're supposed to impress your boss, show off how talented you are, but Greene argues that's a massive mistake. Your real job isn't just to make your superiors feel secure. It's to actively manage their ego, to soothe that little voice in their head that's afraid of being replaced. And this is a perfect example. Let me tell you the story of Nicolas Fouquet. He was the finance minister for King Louis XIV of France, and to honor the king, he threw the most incredible party you can possibly imagine. He thought it would show his loyalty, but instead, the party was so amazing, so lavish, it made the king's own palace look kind of sad. It basically screamed that Fouquet had better taste and maybe even more money than the king himself. Louis wasn't flattered, he was humiliated. Fouquet died in prison. So here's the takeaway. When you make your boss look good, you become indispensable. But the moment you make them feel insecure or outdone, your talent suddenly looks like a threat. And as Fouquet found out the hard way, threats tend to get, well, eliminated. This really breaks it down, doesn't it? The naive approach is to show off, hoping you'll get a pat on the back. But the powerful approach is strategic humility. You quietly attach your best ideas and successes to your master's name. You let them shine, and you'll rise right along with them. Now, this might sound like it completely contradicts that last law, but it's all about context. This law applies when you're not standing in the shadow of a master. It's not about outshining anyone. It's about carrying yourself with an aura of confidence and self-respect. If you act like you're destined for great things, people start to believe it. Basically, your own self-perception sets the price tag for how others are going to value you. Okay, so if mastering your own image is the defense in this game, this next part is pure offense. This is where the book gets its Machiavellian reputation. We're talking about using psychology to disarm, distract, and get what you want. The book's argument is that the best deceptions aren't some complicated web of lies. They're actually just simple distractions. If you can get someone laser-focused on one thing over here, you're totally free to do whatever you want over there, right under their nose. And you know what the best distraction is? A surprising act of honesty. Just look at how a master did it. The legendary con artist Yellow Kid Whale had this down to a science. He'd show up looking kinda naive, then he'd build trust with some small, sincere gesture. Then, bam! He'd create a huge distraction, like staging a fake murder in the middle of a boxing match, and in the panic, his target would run for their life, leaving their investment money sitting right there for him to scoop up. While strategy is Law 12 in a nutshell. Those little acts of honesty, they were the key that unlocked his victims' trust. It made them completely defenseless against the much bigger con that was just around the corner. So why does this work so well? It's simple, really. People want to believe in kindness. A single, perfectly timed act of generosity or honesty just lowers all their defenses. It's like a Trojan horse for the mind. You give them a little something, and it lets you take everything. So let's put this together. You've shaped how people see you. You've learned how to misdirect them. What's next? The next step is getting other people to do what you want, often without them even knowing it. It's about learning to move the pieces on the chessboard. This law is just brutally practical. Greene argues that counting on someone's gratitude or their mercy is a losing bet. You know why? Because those are emotions, and emotions fade. But self-interest, that's forever. If you want someone's help, you have to show them what's in it for them. This quote says it all. Stop talking about what you need, start talking about what they want. Think about it. If you're pitching an idea, the losing strategy is to explain why you deserve the investment. The winning strategy is to show them how it's going to benefit them. Align your goals with their self-interest, and suddenly they're on your team. It's the most powerful lever you can pull. And now for what might be the most cynical law in the whole book. The idea here is simple. Progress is almost always built on the work of others, so don't reinvent the wheel. Find the knowledge, the hard work, the research that others have already done, build on top of it, and then put your name on the final product. Bismarck's quote just perfectly captures this mindset. He didn't see it as stealing. He saw it as being incredibly efficient. I mean, why go through all the pain of making your own mistakes when you can learn and profit from the mistakes and successes of others? It saves you time, it saves you energy, and it gives you what the book calls a godlike aura of efficiency and speed. So after going through these laws of perception, deception, and control, the book kind of flips the script and points the question right back at you. Now that you've seen a peek inside the rulebook, what are you going to do about it? This quote from Machiavelli, who was a huge inspiration for this book, really gets to the heart of its amoral philosophy. The point isn't that you should go out and be ruthless. The point is that you have to understand the ruthlessness of others just to protect yourself. In the world of power, being naive isn't a virtue. It's a death sentence. And that is the final challenge the 48 Laws of Power leaves you with. It shows us a world where these power dynamics are everywhere, they're inescapable. You can choose to ignore the game, sure, but you can't choose not to be a player. So the only real question left is, how are you going to play?